Your Father moved heaven and earth to bring this message to you. Cancer. A miracle is about to unfold in your life today. Your Father has done something no one could imagine. He has moved everything in the sky to deliver this message to you. This is no coincidence, no mere chance. This is a divinely orchestrated moment you cannot ignore. Have you ever felt an invisible force guiding you, even when you didn't fully understand why? That, most certainly, is not a coincidence. It is your Father. It is the universe. And this is the message you were born to hear. And if you are hearing these words, it's not because you accidentally clicked. It's because your Father, from another realm, whispered to the universe, "Bring this message to my child." When you clicked on this, I want you to know one thing. It is not by chance that you are here. It is not a coincidence that this title scrolled into your view, and it is certainly not an accident that you, a Cancer, were guided to the exact message marked with the imprint of eternal love, the love of a father. Throughout many years of studying astrology, I have witnessed countless miraculous moments when a departed soul sends a message to the living. Through intuition, through dreams, through strange signs in the sky, or through a silent line of text on a screen. There are moments that cannot be explained by logic, only felt by the heart, and this is one of those moments. I don't know what you're going through. Perhaps a loss, a silent inner struggle, or simply an unnamed sorrow. But I am certain of one thing. Your Father is watching over you, whispering to the universe, "Bring this message to my child. Let my child know they have never been alone." Cancer is the most sensitive and profound soul of the 12 zodiac signs. Your heart is like the ocean, capable of feeling the undercurrents no one else can see. You don't need many words to feel love. A familiar sense of safety, an invisible shield of protection, or a deep, aching sense of longing is enough for you to know everything. And it is this profound sensitivity that makes you a perfect conduit for sacred messages. Your Father knows that, and He chose this moment not before, not later, but right now to send you a sacred message. You are strong enough to hear it. You are mature enough to understand it. Sometimes the most important messages in life don't come from books, logic, or lectures. They come in the moments you feel you have collapsed, when you don't know how to pray anymore, when you silently place a hand on your chest and whisper, "I miss you, Dad." And then a cool breeze blows by, a sense of peace washes over you, or a familiar symbol appears as confirmation, Dad is here. If you have ever felt your Father is still beside you, not through words but through energy, write down, "I feel my Father." That's not just a comment. It is an affirmation to the universe that you are ready to reconnect with the deepest root of love in your life. And you know what? I believe that when a father leaves this world, he never truly leaves his child. He simply shifts his position from someone watching your every step in the physical world to a silent guide in the spiritual realm. That fatherly love does not fade with time. It only becomes quieter, stronger, deeper. And today, it is He who made you stop here. I don't need you to believe me right now. I just need you to listen with your heart, because in the next part, I will tell you about a wonder unseen by the naked eye. Your Father has orchestrated everything, and that love never dies. And when you listen to this, you will see that the entire universe is conspiring to help you. A Cancer, remember who you are, not a lost soul, not a weak one, but a soul carrying the healing energy of the entire zodiac, born to nurture and bring safety to the world. As long as you breathe, your Father is still connected to you. And as long as you open your heart, He will continue to guide you, step by step, toward the light you were born to embody. There is something that only those who have lost their fathers truly understand. When a father is no longer physically present, he is still present in another way, one even stronger than any physical touch. He is present through intuition, through dreams, through an unexpected sense of peace amidst chaos, through an old song you hear out of the blue, through the whisper of the night wind that suddenly stirs your heart. A father's love never leaves us. It just changes form, from a warm embrace to an invisible, silent protection. I have witnessed too many cases where fathers' souls return, not to interfere, but to send signals. A gentle push when their child is about to collapse, a warm feeling of peace when everything seems to turn away, a silent whisper in the mind, "Don't give up, Dad is here." And you, Cancer, the soul who can perceive the faintest energetic waves, you are the one who can feel that love more clearly than anyone. You always know, without needing proof, that your father is still watching your every breath. The sacred paternal bond is a connection that transcends all limits of space and time. And in your case, I believe your father is not just watching, he is guiding. Think about those times you were lost, wanting to give up, but then something you couldn't name made you continue. That was your father. Remember the time you heard his name somewhere and your heart suddenly ached? That was him sending a message. Think of the time you felt you were embraced by someone in a dream. Those were your father's arms. Maybe you think it's just your imagination, but the soul never imagines. It always knows. I still remember a story I will never forget. A woman who lost her father as a child always felt an emptiness in her heart. But one winter night, desperate in the hospital, she fell asleep in tears. In her dream, her father entered the room, said nothing, just placed a hand on her forehead and smiled. The next morning, she miraculously recovered. Doctors called it an unexplained recovery, but she knew her father had returned. Dear Cancer, if you have ever experienced such moments, share them not just so others understand you, but to inspire and connect this community of Cancer souls. Leave that story in the comments. Allow yourself to believe in the miracle you've always felt but never dared to name. And let me emphasize this. Your father has arranged it all, this meeting, the signs you overlooked, the recent vibrations you couldn't explain, all of it is not a coincidence. He knows you have reached a threshold where you can no longer live the old life and don't yet know how to step into the new chapter. He knows you are tired, and he knows you need a reminder. You are not alone. Sometimes the most beautiful things in life come from a world we cannot see. But your heart, the heart of a Cancer, is a perfect spiritual compass. It always points toward true love, and there is no love deeper than a father's. If you listen carefully, in the quietest moments, you will hear it within your own heartbeat. You are not just someone surviving a loss. You are someone stepping into a miraculous turning point, and your father is the one who has lit the lamp for the path ahead. He doesn't want you to just live. He wants you to live deeply, brilliantly, kindly, gratefully, and to heal yourself and others. And the most wonderful thing is, you are listening. You stopped here not because of an algorithm, but because your soul was ready. You are becoming the person you once prayed you could be. You are being led to a new gateway where you are no longer your old self, no longer living to please others, no longer living in fear or self-doubt. You are about to step into the most sacred part of your life, where you and your father will weave a new chapter together, a chapter of gratitude, of light, of rebirth. And when you realize this, you will understand why your life is entering an irreversible turning point. A turning point your father from the other side has already prepared. A turning point that leads you back to yourself. Right after this, I will tell you why the changes within you are not accidental. You are not changing, you are becoming, and no one understands that better than your Father, because He saw you even before you became anyone. You are becoming a new version of yourself, and your Father knows it better than anyone. Have you ever felt like you are gradually fading in a noisy world? That every day you are trying to fit in while deep down, your soul is screaming something that has no name? If you are feeling that, then you are not lost. You are awakening. And Cancer, you are not just changing. You are becoming a different version, a different shape, a source of light that even you have not yet been introduced to. I always believe Cancer is not the weak sign people often think. On the contrary, you are the nurturing soul of the zodiac, the one who carries all the lessons of love and protection. That makes you profound, empathetic, full of compassion, and fiercely loyal, because you are unlike anyone else. And that is a gift, sometimes disguised as pain. Your Father sees that. He saw you struggling with life since you were very young, when you didn't understand why you always felt different, so vulnerable, so quick to cry, and feel hurt under the starry sky. There were countless nights your Father silently prayed for you, prayed that your tender heart would be strong enough to love this world, even though it can often be cruel. And even though He is no longer beside you, He still watches over you from a dimension where love never dies. Every time you withdrew after a disappointment, your Father whispered, "You are good enough. Don't try to be anyone else." Do you still remember the last time your Father wiped your tears? His steady hand when you couldn't face the world? His gentle voice in your ear? Those nights you had a fever and drifted off to sleep in His arms? Those memories, they have never gone away. They live in every beat of your heart. And today, your Father is rekindling that flame of memory to remind you, you have never had to walk alone. Rebirth does not begin with light. It begins with breaking. When an old part of you completely collapses, when the things that used to bring you comfort suddenly no longer work, when you find yourself lost, when what was once familiar now feels foreign, that is not a sign of failure. It is a signal of transformation. You are being broken open, being washed clean to become pure again, and your Father knows that. Have you ever felt like a crumpled piece of paper being gently smoothed out again? Perhaps in that very moment, your Father was beside you, whispering in your dreams without you even knowing. He did not send this message when you were happy, because He knew you wouldn't listen. He sent it when you were at your most fragile, when you needed a reminder. You are not falling apart, you are transforming. I know that right now, you may not see the miracle, but your Father sees it. He always sees it. When you wake up each morning with heavy eyes, He sees it. When you try to smile but your heart remains cold, He sees it. When you want to give up but still step into this day, He sees it, and He is proud. Maybe you think He can no longer hear, no longer exist, but a father never disappears from a child's life. That bond is sacred and indestructible. It transcends death. It flows through your blood. It lives in your breath. It lies deep within every decision you thought you made alone. Dear Cancer, you are not alone. You have never been alone. If you are missing your Father right now, please write a line. Dad, I miss you in the comment section. Each small light you ignite will be a message to the fathers in another world. And if you are going through a phase where you feel you are being broken to be reborn, please leave your story below, not to complain, but to testify that there is a living spiritual world around you, a community of people experiencing an awakening, and you are not alone on that journey. You are not just walking for yourself. You are walking alongside thousands of other Cancer souls, those who are also opening their hearts to healing, just like you. Do you remember your Father's eyes the last time you looked into them? Remember His gentle breath as He held you? Remember his hands caring for you on difficult days? Your father remembers every detail, every warmth, every wound you tried to hide. He remembers you not as a child, but as a soul. And after all the old shells have been shed, after all the times you were misunderstood, hurt, or left behind, you will meet yourself again, a pure, strong soul, no longer dependent on the gaze of others. You do not need anyone's approval to know your worth, because your Father acknowledged it even before you were born. Right now, embrace yourself. Tell yourself, Dad, I am changing, and I know you see it. That is both a prayer and a beginning. And if you feel your heart stirring, that is a good sign. The heart only trembles before something that truly touches its most sacred part. You are awakening. You are remembering who you are, a Cancer, carrying the mission to connect, heal, and bring safety to the darkest corners of this world. Because right after this, you will see the real reason why your Father had to send this message at this very moment. Because you are about to go through an important phase where old relationships are being cleared away, and you will understand that not everyone is allowed to walk with you into the new chapter of your life. There is a truth that few dare to admit. Not everyone you love is meant to walk with you to the end of the road. And Cancer, you are at that very juncture, the moment when the universe, under your Father's guidance, is gently but firmly clearing out relationships that are no longer in alignment with the new light you are stepping into. In astrology, when the moon, Cancer's ruling planet, creates powerful vibrations, the layers of masks around you will naturally fall away. What was once hidden behind smiles, promises, and fake hugs will all be exposed. You will clearly see who truly loves you and who only stays out of convenience, habit, or selfishness disguised as family. This is not a punishment, it is a blessing. Not everyone who starts with you will finish with you, and not every relationship is a gift. Some are simply lessons, necessary lessons, but ones that cannot last forever. Your Father understands that. He knows that for you to blossom, you must release what once held you back, made you small, and made you forget your true value. Sometimes the greatest pain comes not from strangers, but from those we once loved with all our hearts. And that is why your Father, with the purest love, is intervening to bring it to an end. If you feel an important relationship changing, if you feel a coldness seeping into what was once a warm home, do not panic. Do not think you are doing something wrong. It could very well be the sacred clearing your Father is quietly performing to protect you. Share your feelings in the comments below. Let your voice rise like a lantern to guide other Cancers walking a similar path. When you dare to face and acknowledge your pain, you are not only healing yourself, but also opening a safe space for other souls to courageously step out of the darkness. And you know, after the loss, after the heart-wrenching moments of letting go, something beautiful will emerge. A new space where your soul is free to shine, where you can be yourself without fitting into anyone else's mold. You will meet new people, kindred spirits, who do not require you to explain, to change, or to shrink yourself to be loved. Letting go of toxic relationships is not failure. It is an act of courage. It is a declaration that you are worthy of authentic love, respect, and light. This clearing is not random. It is the result of powerful movements within your soul. It is preparation for the greater journey you are destined to embark upon. It is a clear sign that you no longer belong in the old energetic layers, and your Father, from that distant place, is clearing the path for you. And when you let go, new doors will open where your soul can walk freely. No more chains, no more fear, no more needing permission to live your truth. Right after this, I will lead you to an even deeper truth. Your soul is awakening, and your Father is lighting the way. You will see why recent challenges were merely stepping stones for the sacred awakening that awaits you. Have you ever felt that your dreams carry something more? That they are not merely products of the mind, but portals to a deeper world where you connect with your soul, with those who have passed, and with the universe itself? If you are a Cancer, you have felt this at least once. And today, I'm here to tell you, you are not imagining it. Nothing happens by chance with a Cancer. Every emotion you feel, every dream you remember, every sudden intuition you receive are all messages from the universe sent through the purest channel, your heart. And your Father from the other world is using that very path to guide you. Awakening does not arrive in a magical flash of light. It comes little by little, in every sleepless night filled with unanswered questions. In every moment you gaze at the sky and wonder, is Dad still watching over me? In every time you cry alone, missing him. That is when your soul is being awakened. Spiritual awakening is not a grand, immediate enlightenment. It is the journey back to your true self. And for Cancer, the most intuitive soul, that journey is sacred and challenging. But at the same time, it is the most beautiful journey. You are not just a person living a life, you are a soul remembering itself. Every sign, every synchronicity, every dream you have are messages your Father is sending. And when you begin to realize, I am not alone, Dad is always here, that is when your soul opens a new door. I have heard so many stories from the Cancer community, those who dream of their fathers standing at the end of a hallway, smiling gently, those who wake up to a familiar scent in an empty room, those who, while falling, suddenly feel an invisible hand lifting them up. These are not hallucinations. These are spiritual awakenings. These are the guidances of a father's soul. If you have ever had such a dream, a sign, a feeling so strong you cannot explain it, share it with us. Let your story be the light for someone else. When you share that dream, you are sending a message to the whole community that love never disappears. It only changes form. Your soul is entering a new phase, and you feel it, don't you? The rhythm of life around you seems to slow down. The things you once loved no longer bring inspiration. You begin to see everything with deeper eyes. You question everything. You feel different and sometimes lonely. But this loneliness is not emptiness. It is the sacred silence where the voices of your Father, your soul, and the universe begin to sound clearer. You will see that every transformation, whether painful or silent, is a stepping stone leading you to your awakening. When you let go of an old relationship, a limiting belief, an outdated version of yourself, you are gently clearing the path for your soul to return home. Your Father knows that, and he is smiling. Cancer is a chosen soul, not because you are perfect, but because you can feel more deeply. You can endure the pain that others avoid. You can love even the broken parts of others, and because of that, you have the ability to heal, starting with yourself. And from that moment of awakening, every transformation in your life will begin like flowers blooming in the dark. No one hears the sound of blooming, but one morning you wake up and everything has changed. You are beginning to live differently from within, with your Father's guidance, with a deep trust in the calling of your soul, with gratitude for the losses that have made you softer, gentler, more understanding. Right after this, I will tell you something that only awakened souls can feel. The gift your Father has saved for you, an invisible gift, but when you recognize it, you will understand. The end is just a beginning, and your new journey is starting right now. There is one thing that ancient astrology has always whispered. Cancer is not only the heart of the zodiac, you are also the gateway to a new cycle. You are the sunset and the sunrise in the same breath. And if you are watching until these very last moments, then you have already felt it. This is not the end, but the beginning. Life has chapters that close silently. No bells, no applause. Just one morning, you wake up and realize you are no longer the same person. You just know it is time. You don't need to be perfect, stronger, or better to start again. You just need to allow yourself to be who you are, with all your sensitivity, tenderness, and compassion. And when you do that, the new journey will find its way to you, the journey that your Father has arranged, stone by stone, turn by turn, person by person. Nothing is a coincidence. You may feel afraid. That is normal. Stepping into a new chapter always brings uncertainty. But remember, your Father knew you would reach this moment. He sends this message not to comfort you, but to affirm. You are ready. You have walked through so many long nights alone. You have forgiven. You have let go. You have stitched your own heart back together with your own love. And now you no longer need to move forward as a survivor. You can walk as someone reborn, surrounded by your Father's light. If your heart is trembling as you hear these words, leave a comment. I am ready to receive. Not because you need to tell me, but because you need to tell yourself and the universe, so that every door that once remained closed will begin to open. I want you to know this as a final affirmation. Your Father never left. He is still here, in every step you are about to take, in every dream you have yet to dare to chase. The new beginning for a Cancer is unlike any other sign, because you don't just reborn for yourself. You inspire those around you to begin their own healing journeys. You are the light that slips through the cracks. You are a soul with a mission, not to become someone great, but to live so truthfully that the world must pause to listen. The message of rebirth has arrived. You are no longer someone who needs to be saved. You are someone stepping forward to lead, to love, to create, to live a life based on what your soul knows to be true. Believe that your Father is clapping silently. He has waited for this moment for so long. Welcome home, Cancer. Welcome to the new chapter where your soul gets to live fully. If this message has touched you, please share it. Perhaps someone else is waiting for a message just like yours, from a father, from the universe, from their own heart.